And thank you all for joining us. This is our Aussie Botcast. I'm Scotty. We have our usual crew in here with the guest of Jason tonight, who is going to be talking to us about TF Nation, which he and our good friend Mikey just attended. So that will be very much fun. Now, Jason is a old hat at these, so I'm sure he's going to have many fantastic stories for us to tell. We're all looking forward to it. We also have Adam joining us and Stel, and we have Gary in the chat room. So if you want to chat, join on in. Gazza will be there. He's a bit under the weather. Obviously, a little bit of the man flu's affected everyone recently. So Gazza is currently planning his funeral and his wake. So if anyone has any suggestions for him, please feel free to give them in there. So what else shall we talk about? How shall we start this, boys? Has anyone had any exciting news for the week?
I have been sick all week since I got back from TFN. Like nothing exciting has happened to me at all because I've spent half the week asleep.
It's been going around.
Sounds exciting to me.
Yes. I had it last week. I was down, and like I say, Gary's got it this week. So I think everyone's just getting a touch of the flu at the moment. Yeah, I know a lot of my friends at work have been down too, but we're here, so that's the main thing. So let's get into it, shall we? Should we talk about anything? What else exciting has happened? Adam, anything for you? You say you're looking for a lawnmower. That's reasonably exciting. Yeah.
Not
Nice.
really.
Nah,
it's very noisy, but it could be exciting.
If you're not careful, is the person who controls your lawnmower going to like develop superpowers and attempt to take over the world through the phone network?
I did find $100 AI powered robot lawnmower on Temu that I was tempted to buy.
You literally can be the lawnmower man.
But I decided that I don't want it to explode in my face, and I'll go back to the old-fashioned, standard lawnmower, which wakes up the neighbors when they've had the party at 10 to 2 a.m. in the morning, and you need to wake up your neighbors because, they kept you up all night. So you get up at 7 a.m. and turn on the older petrol-powered lawnmower and, make sure you do it as close to their bedroom window as possible and just leave it there.
Remind me not to move in next door to you.
Yes. I'm a little worried about your neighbors.
You can move in, just don't have a party at 2 a.m. in the morning.
You can check in, but you don't check out.
And Stel, anything exciting from you this week?
Well, something this week that will pay off next week is that my pre-order for Vector Prime and Swindle finally went through, which means they're coming next week. So I'm going to have a completed 13 Primes lineup and a completed Bruticus this time next week. So I'm very excited about that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's about it. Excellent.
A long time coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
I'm still waiting for my Onslaught to turn up.
Same from Amazon. Tomorrow,
hit and miss old Amazon. I've had a few good dealings, and I hear lots of bad stories. So,
it's like any retailer. People think that Amazon always behaves one particular way, but the reality is that like supply chains have delays and issues, and sometimes Amazon will have a delay that they can't avoid, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's like hard enough to find them over here as well, like just at normal retailers. So you can understand why they get caught behind, like the Starscream debacle that's happened overseas. Like apparently he's whereas, and then I walk down to JB and there's half a dozen of them just sitting there.
Well, so
I better go there and get them then.
So when you say the Starscream debacle, do you know what actually happened?
Didn't they it was something to do with Target in America cancelled the order or something like that, or and then I've read a little bit about it, but I haven't really delved into it much. But all I know is a lot of people are pissed about it.
It's really kind of weird, right? Like because the More Than Meets the Eye line is exclusive to Target in the US, and so Target put all these things up and they collected everyone's pre-orders and then they cancelled them. And so if the place that it's exclusive to cancels all the orders, what happens? And so apparently Hasbro responded by sending all the Starscreams that Target was supposed to have ordered over to Asia, which is why they're everywhere in Asia. We've got them turning up in JB Hi-Fi stores here, which they're supposed to anyway. But it means that the entire continent of America has freaked out at not being able to complete their 86 movie seekers, and like it's not really clear why they cancelled everything. Apparently Target's having like a bit of a hissy fit over tariffs again, like surprise. But like you would have thought that perhaps this might have gone slightly differently, or maybe been slightly more subtle. But either way, I came back from my trip with a Starscream, so I'm okay.
Nice. Yeah, I got mine from JB, so I'm fine as well. It's all good.
Same.
Yeah.
JB.
I haven't had a trouble yet.
So.
I don't even. I was going to say to their credit, but I don't know if it is to their credit or not. Like someone from Hasbro came out and said, "Oh, yep, like we're aware of this issue." I'm like, I'm glad you're aware of it. We're gonna do everything we can to make sure that fans in the United States have every chance to get the figure that they want. I'm like, maybe you should speak to your exclusive retailer about not canceling pre-orders.
If everyone gets to experience what it's like to be in a country other than America.
Well, if you guys recall, a few years prior, we had issues with Cosmos in the Velocitron line.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a 1 in 8. It was a 1 in 8 pack, and if you went into a Kmart and you saw a Cosmos, you would pretty much buy it, and then log the sighting and say, "Oh, I found Cosmos at Kmart," and it's like, well, it's no use going to that Kmart anymore because you've taken the one Cosmos. But at the time, I spoke to Hasbro about it. I was like, "Can you guys just like bring in solid cases of Cosmos because people want Cosmos?" And they were like, "Well, our hands are tied because the line's exclusive to Kmart, and Kmart ordered X amount of stock, and we filled that amount of stock, and so we can't force them to order more Cosmos."
I mean, it does. It seems to be a lot better for the exclusives for us at the moment too. Like all of the ones like the SDCC, Gem and the Holograms ones turned up at EB, and there's the Seekers and that. Everything that we've sort of, as collectors, everyone was collectively going, we're not going to be able to get this, has suddenly started turning up. So obviously they're doing some things right. We can't be, totally upset with them.
No, look, Hasbro is full of people who like Transformers, who know that there's a lot of people who like Transformers around the country, and they try to get stuff as much as they can for us. I think they've been doing a pretty good job of it the last few years. There was a point, I think it was during one of the Legacy Evolution years, when we had the core class Dinobots, and like 2 of the Dinobots didn't come here. And I remember getting an email from someone at Hasbro going, "Look, we don't know why. They just weren't ordered by someone who's now left. So we don't really have a reason as to why they're not here. They're just not here."
Well, they ended up on Amazon.
Yeah.
Somehow,
I mean that's kind of the thing, right? Is anything that doesn't come here will end up on Amazon if it's an import from another country or something anyway. So, ultimately you kind of got to play a long game with this stuff these days.
Well, it always pleasantly surprises me. I'm up in a littler city. What I get to see up here in my JB and EB, like it's all the big city stuff, and it's kind of nice to see all that stuff getting its way everywhere. From what I can see.
Did you say that the Gem and the Hologram set went to EB? Yeah.
I've seen it up for pre-order.
Oh, has it actually been in stock yet or not yet?
No, it hasn't been in stock, but it's definitely up for pre-order.
Yeah, cool. Did they get the cereal box one as well?
I think they did, yes.
Yeah, cool.
Pop culture and all the gamesmen have it.
All of those stores are really concentrating nowadays on the Transformers. They're really popular, evidently, to collect them. So they've kind of clicked on to that. They sort of got us.
I don't know. I feel like Transformers have done well over the years. There could be something to this, like plucky little franchise.
A couple of years now, not that old. Alrighty, so what do we got up here? The 150 subscribers draw. I'm not sure how many people we are from it. Maybe Geza could whip that up in the chat, and then I'll be able to find out. We've got the 3 variant covers there. So thanks to Rob, they look pretty cool. Apart from that, let's get stuck in to the meat of what everyone's come here to listen to. There it is. That's you at TF Nation. Jason, if you'd like to take the floor and walk us through how your TF Nation was, we're all ears.
That is so. That's three people who've been on the Aussie podcast in one photo in another country. How's that? There's obviously that's myself and Mikey, and that is Hoda, the Triptychon guy who we had on a few weeks ago. And my goodness, what a good looking man he is, my God. And he's so lovely and friendly as well. He may be watching. I don't know. We'll see. But no, it was fantastic to meet him. And I said to people when we were talking about this on Toy Reel on Thursday night, like the number one thing that I have to say about anyone at TF Nation is that everyone's lovely. So like you will meet people and everyone will stop and have time for you, and they will take an interest in what you've done and what you've said. And it's not that kind of conversations where people are just like, oh yep, and they start looking around for an exit. Like people really lock in and they really focus in, and you have some really interesting discussions with both attendees and guests. Like I said, everyone is lovely. I have been going to TFN for, I'm going to say many years now. I think this was my 8th TF Nation. It was either my 7th or my 8th, but my first TFN was, I think it was 2018 when we had a Stan Bush concert. And this has been bookended this year by the fact that we had a Vince DiCola concert this year. So Vince DiCola came along. He was one of the headline guests this year, and he had they didn't call it a concert, but like I'm happy to call it a concert. We had a concert on the Saturday evening from Vince DiCola, where he played excerpts from some of his well-known soundtracks, like I don't know, Transformers the movie and Rocky IV. Which I'm sure I feel like a lot of people seem to know Rocky IV more than Transformers the movie, even amongst Transformers fans. There was a couple of other things that he also played excerpts from, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. I have now seen Vince DiCola perform music from Angry Birds Transformers live.
Nice.
Because he did, of course, do the soundtrack to the old Angry Birds Transformers game, which was pretty fun. Pretty fun as well. He's also done a few other video games. He's done a lot of video games in the last sort of decade and a half. And one that I was particularly fond of, and I was really happy to see him perform a suite from it live, was a little indie game called Saturday Morning RPG. And when he dropped a couple of tracks from one of his other games, and I suddenly had this realization, like, oh my God, we're going to get a Saturday Morning RPG suite as well, and we did. So it was really good. TF Nation is a hotel convention. So what that means is that it's very different to a convention like Supernova or Oz Comic Con, where people turn up to a giant shed and they have their stand and they man their stand and then they go home at the end of the day. There's so much of TFN is focused around the bar at the Hilton, and the bar is it's almost a massive social war zone. You walk in and it's you always see on American TV shows where like kids go to school for the first time and they're very nervous about figuring out where they're going to sit in the class and stuff like that. And in a way, it's kind of like that. You walk into the bar area and you're like, where the hell am I going to sit? Who am I going to talk to? And it ultimately doesn't matter. You find someone who has a Transformer on the table that you like and you like the look of. You go over and you just ask them, like, do you mind if I play with your toy? and generally, if something's on the table, it's generally available for you to pick it up and play with. We all trust each other because we're all Transformers fans. We all trust each other not to abuse the toys and break them. And it's a really good icebreaker to have a toy on the table, and someone will come along, and they'll ask you about the toy, and you're in for a conversation. The guests at the convention also come and hang out at the bar as well. So Vince DiCola was at the bar. Some of the comics folks who come regularly, like James Roberts, Jack Lawrence. I'm sure those two will be happy to know that I conflated their names together. James Roberts, Jack Lawrence, Alex Milne. All these guys come along and they do hang out in the bar, and you can approach them, you can have a chat with them. Had a really interesting discussion about it's a weird conversation to have at a convention bar, but about addiction and other like vices and problems and stuff with Jack Lawrence. And I was conscious while we were having this discussion. I'm like, this is a hell of an introduction for Mikey to TFN, is to be sitting here having a conversation with Jack Lawrence about like addiction to things in the TFN bar. I'm like, I hope the next conversation is lighter, but it was also Jack was very freely giving his time and his opinion on things that were the topic of discussion. Jack is also one of the friendliest and cuddliest and most huggy people that you'll ever see at a Transformers convention as well, and it's always a pleasure to go and hang out with him as well. So yeah, like the bar at TFN is really interesting. It's like I said, it's the social centerpiece of the convention, and it's pretty much the first thing that anyone sees when they walk into the Hilton. There's always lots of people at the bar. It also doesn't really matter what else is on at the convention, because there are people who just go and sit at the bar the entire time. They don't go to panels. They'll probably go to the dealer room, but there's people who purely go there to exercise the social batteries every year. And there's a group of us over time. Like, there's a group of us that started sort of as Transformers Twitter. And these days it's Transformers Blue Sky, I think. But there's a lot of us who've always gone and hung out at TFN, and we all look forward to seeing each other every year there. And so yeah, when people come in and we'll arrange social occasions. Like I think it's become a regular Thursday night thing now that we go out and we'll have dinner at Resorts World at Karaji Chicken, a Japanese fried chicken place, which is around the lake from the Hilton. So we exit the Hilton, we go out for some social occasions, and and then we finish that up, and then we go back to the Hilton and sit at the bar for a while.
All the videos always look it's so cool when you watch them, with the people that are going, like, the dealer rooms and the bar, and they pan around and there's just, people drinking and playing with Transformers, and they're just, like you say, if they're on the table, everyone's just sort of sitting down and playing with them, discussing them. It looks like it's just a great big, toy room, which is all what we have is just a great big toy room. So, I can't wait. I'm hoping that next year might be the first year for me too. So just got to try and sort things out at the moment. So that's the main thing, but it looks amazing. Like you say, you just meet people randomly at the bar. You got these stories being told to you. I mean, you must have a million.
There's always lots and lots of stories. It actually is really annoying to choose sort of a highlight story and tell people about it, but and I do think this photo will come up shortly in the list, the sort of the slideshow that we've got showing up here. But and there's Vince DiCola's panel. Actually, I'll give you a fun little anecdote that Vince gave us in his panel about Transformers the movie. When he got the job to do Transformers the movie, they said to him, "Look, it's an animated film. You'll get storyboards, and you'll have to write a lot of music to storyboards instead of to finished animation. are you okay with doing that? And he's like, sure, yeah, whatever. And then he said afterwards he was just said to like one of his co-workers or his manager, he's like, what the hell was that about? I don't even know what that meant. Like, don't know what's going on there. And he said once they started giving him the storyboards and they're like, here you go, blah, 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 you can start creating music. He's like, oh, I don't really know what to do with the storyboards. Like I've bitten off more than I can chew here, and I don't really know how to start writing music to storyboards. And he said, so he just decided that Transformers the movie was going to be a Vince DiCola concept album instead of actually writing things to the storyboards. And the end result is quite amazing because whatever he ended up delivering did work extremely well with the animation that was delivered, which he claims is a complete and total fluke. But it's become iconic over the years, and so a fluke it may be, but it's our fluke. It's the fluke that sort of it lives rent free in our heads for ages, and we understand every single beat of that movie score. A lot of us listen to it regularly, and yeah, like I often put it on. I put it on at conventions when we have a stand at the conventions and the like. And yeah, I kind of thought that my experience of sort of feeling such an intimate connection to the movie soundtrack was kind of unique to me until I went along to a convention full of people who like got up and cheered when Unicron's theme started playing. I was like, yeah, okay. It's fair enough. A few other people get it as well. That's cool. I'm happy to share that experience with people.
And more to place to share it. Yeah. But what a great place to have with all the fans, and you get to talk about it with them all. It must, I can't even imagine how cool a TF con of any kind would be, let alone something like this. It seems so mind-blowing to me, especially because we don't have them.
Yeah, there are certain things that work by force of personality. So, like the UK is spread out, but it's more populous than Australia, and so there's just a lot more Transformers fans, and they're also more willing to make the trip for a convention when it pops up. But we discussed this last time I was on, actually. Like Australia is just it's too big. Like people won't go from Sydney to Melbourne in order to attend a convention. They'll just sit there and just go, oh well, maybe next year it'll come to Sydney, and people just won't travel for stuff. But in the UK at least, people will get in the car, they'll take a road trip, and they'll drive all over the UK, and they'll pick up their friends on the way to TFN and go and park in the car park at the Hilton, and we all go and hang out for a few days. But as far as conventions go, like there are the TF cons that occur in the States and in Canada, and there's also BotCon, which is sort of the remnants of what used to be an official Hasbro convention, which then Hasbro stopped running, and then the name fell into disuse, and then the old company picked it up and started using it again. I find the company that runs BotCon maybe a little bit questionable in terms of some of their associations, but it's been a while since I've looked into that kind of thing, so I just tend to avoid it. But TFN is the largest Transformers convention in Europe, and there's a couple of others. There's a couple of others that do pop up around the UK now. There's I think they call it UK like UK TF Con or something like that, and these guys are starting to do sort of like a whole weekend convention, sort of around May or June, and people are going along to that and enjoying it. But like it's TFN is the one that I go for. But yeah, I've always found more of an affinity to the UK Transformers community than I have the US. I know personalities in the UK community better than I do the US one, and there's a couple of people from the US who've come over to TFN sort of introduced themselves and gotten on well with everyone. But the US ones, they're not a hotel convention. Like I was saying, you have this bar atmosphere, and you don't get that. You don't get that at the UK one, the US ones. I was saying, Jack Lawrence was telling us about some of his convention going experiences, and he said he went along to one of the TF cons, and he said it got to the end of the day, and he was like, I want to go sit in the bar. I want to have chats with people in the bar, and he's like, but there's no bar. So he ended up he chose a nearby bar, and he tweeted out and he said, "Hey guys, I'm going to be at this bar for a little while. I'll have some drinks and some dinner. Come along and hang out." And he said nobody did.
Why not?
Sad and depressing.
I know, right?
Canada TF cons look okay. They look like they've got more of the dealer room as well. I've seen a few videos on those ones, and they seem a bit more friendly than the American ones.
Hey, it's Andy from TF the Show. How you doing, Andy? It was lovely to see you up there. We got to hang out. We got to hang out a little bit as well. And there's Galactus 2010. I'm actually not sure who Galactus 2010 is. I'm probably going to be shamed. They'll probably drop their name in the chat and they'll be like, "I can't believe you don't know it was me." But yeah. And yes, absolutely.
A lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely loved the Vince Nicola show as well. I should say that. So the Vince Nicola thing they said was a live musical performance, and they didn't call it a concert, and it's kind of understandable because what they did, he was sat on stage with his keyboard and a laptop, and he had there you go, that's perfect timing. He had taken he had a live recording of all of the suite of music that he was playing that had been recorded at at a concert venue in the US, and the entire band was present for that. And so what he'd done is he'd taken that recording and he'd dropped his own pieces out of it so he could play along with it live. So Vince's part was performed live. The rest was sort of a backing track, which to me still is a Vince Nicola concert. But the official term was a live musical performance, which I thought was it was just fantastic. So yeah. Also, as David from TFN pointed out, if you look very closely at the photo that's on screen at the moment, very good for people who listen to the podcast. I'm sorry, there's no sheet music either. So Vince is playing along to this from memory. So he's done well there.
Yeah, I mean, most musos need the cheat sheet there to help them remember, or they have the little earpiece in so they can hear what they used to sing like. But to do it all from memory, like, must have impacted him as well.
So there's a comment from there. Dave runs Dinobot Island Toys, often dressed up as an inflatable Beast Wars Megatron T-Rex with googly eyes at TFN. I believe I have run afoul of your inflatable Megatron in years gone by, but not this year. Okay, so yeah, and look at this. Hoda is in as well. Oh, look, this is great. We've got a lovely little cohort of people coming along. So thank you for.
We were very privileged to have him on. He was one of our first early guests, and it was his first podcast. So we were very lucky to get him. Before
absolutely
other people snatched him up.
Yeah. And Andy, yes, in front row. As you can see from my photo of Vince back there, I was not quite so front row, but still like the entire concert experience was pretty awesome, and there wasn't really a bad seat in the house as well. So yeah. Yeah, there's a lot there's a lot to discuss in TFN. I want to try to avoid just speaking to the photos that show up, but there's a couple of photos here. This one is actually extremely cool, because this is Mikey's holding the Beast Wars press kit, one of the original press kits, and this was actually brought along to TFN by Andy from TF Raw. if you've browsed around online looking for any historical Transformers stuff, you have probably found the TF Raw archive. And Andy was extremely generous with his time. He brought a lot of cool things with him to TFN. We filmed a couple of pieces looking at some of his cabinet of curiosities and having a bit of a chat with him, and that should come up on Toy Reel in the next few weeks somewhere as well. But Andy was extremely generous, bringing very rare things, and he also let people hold them. As you saw, Mikey was holding that press kit. There's a tremendous amount of trust goes into taking sort of pieces of history like that and just letting people put their hands on it. So yeah, it was fantastic, and there he is. So that is Andy holding his press kit, and I believe he said the curiosity about this is that the logo on the front there where it says Beast Wars Transformers, that is the only mention of the word Transformers on the entire press kit for Beast Wars.
What's it actually say inside? What kind of information's in there? Did you read it?
So it's a press kit that you'll send out to journalists who are covering the series, and it tells them what the series is about, or things like that. So it's for media who want to cover the release of the new TV show. These days you tend to just get a press release, or you get a one paragraph mention in like a Netflix newsletter or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of good photos of Vince doing his panel and some of his chats at the opening and closing ceremony as well. And behind him there is also David Wallace, who you can also see us. We had a bit of a chat with him on Toy Reel. You can see a brief interview with him in the shorts on the Toy Reel YouTube channel. Andy has asked in the comments, there's no Gary this week. Gary is around and hiding, but Gary's not well. I'm also not well. So I've been sick since I got back from TFN, but it's not actually it was not con flu, because there was a good 2 weeks between the convention and actually getting home. I picked something up on the flight home from Singapore, unfortunately. But yeah,
that's no good.
Yeah, Gary just said he's fighting for his life against man flu. Everyone make sure that you send him thoughts and prayers.
He needs them.
What he really needs is likes and subscribes. That really makes him feel better.
That little bell button.
Subscribe.
Don't we have a contest going for 150 subscriptions?
We do have, we're at 130 something. I saw Gary put up. It was ages ago. It's in the comments. But that means we are not far away from it. 150 is what we want. And 135, I believe, is what Gary mentioned. Let me have a look. Right. It's in here.
So everyone, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have family members like Uncle Chunt, get them to subscribe as well.
Yes, get everyone to subscribe. Just everyone you know needs to subscribe. There we go. And hit the little like button too. Ding, 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 ding. I don't know if it makes that sound, but it should do.
I like a like button that makes a noise, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think there should be. Do that. Ding, 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 ding. It looks like the subscribe would be the ding. I don't know what that sounds like.
Hey, look, you have a random guy just hanging on,
holding it.
An extra person has suddenly appeared.
There it is, Josh.
G'day. How you
Good
going,
to see you. I've seen your comments there. Your lovely wife was commenting too. It's good to see.
Yep.
Excellent. Do you have any questions for what's going on so far? You've been watching? You caught up? We don't need to catch you
watching up. Disclosure Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that feels hurtful.
Kick him out.
It's okay. A Steven Spielberg movie is for life, not just Christmas.
Yes, he does write some good ones, but he also writes some stinkers. So there you go.
Josh, live reaction. Is it a good one or a stinker?
It was really good.
There we go.
Mm.
There we go. It's official. It's got
slow
one
to
thumb
build
up
up.
and a bit of a hesitation.
Well, it was slow at the beginning, and you're sort of getting annoyed with it, and you just wanted to get on with it. But by the time it delivers, at the end, really well.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
nice. It seems all right. All the previews for it seem okay.
So we got one thing I will mention that happens a lot at TFN, as you can see in this photo here, is there's a lot of cosplay. You've seen it. There's been a few photos that have come up of people cosplaying as well, and as someone who has to travel to TFN with a single suitcase, like there's no chance I would ever be able to pull off like a mech cosplay at TFN. And so when you see people who've put in the effort to come up with these the concepts, sometimes they have all these like 3D printed and fabricated parts to their costumes. The work that goes in is astonishing. And you see people like on the left, you've got someone dressed as Galvatron and sort of like a mech, obviously a mech transformer, and then you've also got a human form Prowl there as well. And so there's a good split between people who do like a mech versus a human cosplay, and like the human cosplay might be a little bit more not interesting. The human cosplay might be a little bit more possible for me to do, but it's also the one that I'm interested in the least. So I wouldn't really do it.
I've got I got one of the old Soundwave helmets, and I just wanted to go to the convention or a Supernova just wearing that, but then just with the suit on underneath, like Soundwave's in his business suit mode. I was like, that would be cool. It saves me having to build a Soundwave below the neck.
I'm pretty sure there is like a Soundwave business suit. Like there's some official media for that kind of thing now. Probably. I can't remember what it was. I think it came out a few years ago. Speaking of, taking a Soundwave voice changing helmet to a convention, we actually had the audio engineer who was responsible for Soundwave's vocoder voice at TFN. Nice. Scott Brownlee came along, and it was kind of funny. He said, you can find out what you sound like as Soundwave. Come and see me at my stand. And it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And you go along, and there's this big banner. It's like, your voice as Soundwave. Da, 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 da. And then at the bottom in tiny print, it's like US $50. Like, okay. Well, maybe I won't do that. Mikey did it though. And so Mikey recorded a piece with some of the more obscure cassette names, and sort of like instructing them to eject and commence an operation. And so because it was performed in the dealer room where there was lots of people around and it was pretty noisy, Scott Brownlee, the guy's name, he had to sort of go away and clean up everyone's audio recordings and sort of isolate their voices and stuff like that. And so it thus created this funny thing where for a couple of days, the guy who created Soundwave's voice was working for Mikey because he'd taken the money and he hadn't delivered the voice yet. So like we had him on the hook for delivering his voice modulator. It is a little bit interesting. Like, it doesn't quite sound the same way as he did in the 80s, because like obviously in the 80s it was all done analog and now it's all done on a laptop. But like, the guts of the audio transformation is there.
It'd be quite cool. And if he got his money's worth, it sounds like he made him work for it. So I mean,
absolutely.
We all put different value in what we buy and what we consider as value for money and not. So.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Mikey's a massive Soundwave fan, so for me, I went along and I'm like, well, I'm not doing that for $50, but Mikey's just like, holy crap, that's only $50. Let's do it. So we all, like I said, we all draw our line in different places. So yeah,
I'm amazed they haven't turned Soundwave into an effects pedal.
I mean, like.
That would
this
be
is the thing,
so
right?
cool.
Like if Scott's turning up to a convention with like the effect on his laptop. Like it can't be long before someone actually figures that out. And I mean, in these days of like AI sound voices and stuff like that, like it won't be long until you can just have Soundwave narrate your video, just like Giancarlo Esposito seems to narrate a lot of videos on the internet. That man must be very, very busy.
Yeah. There are some artists that have given their voices to AI as well. I was reading about some lady and she recorded all these words of dialogue because she wanted her character to live on in a franchise. I believe it was maybe Star Trek. But anyway, she wanted her voice to live on, so she recorded a whole ton of lines so that they could use her voice later on down the line using that type of technology. So some people are for it, some people are against it. Yeah, it's a hot topic.
I think it's Majel Barrett, who was the wife of Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek. She played a few characters like in person throughout the various shows, but she also is the voice of the Enterprise computer.
Yes.
And I think she, like you said, Scott, she recorded a lot of dialogue, and I think they have the rights to her voice, so they do still use her voice.
Yeah, she gave her rights to the voice so that they could use it. She knew they would want to use it in the future, and she wanted them to keep using that same voice so that you had that continuation throughout all the series, which is amazing.
Yeah, and every series recasts the computer anyway.
Well, they had to update it. It's like changing your voice on Siri.
I think the most recent one, Starfleet Academy. I think Britt Marling was the voice of the Starfleet Academy computer system.
I haven't watched that one.
She's known as the OA from the Netflix series, but so yeah, like it's always. I feel like the computer is always a bit of a stunt voice now as well. Starfleet Academy also had Stephen Colbert as the voice of the dean of the Starfleet Academy as well. There were a lot of very funny background announcements that come out during the show. Keep an eye on it when you get a chance. But yeah,
I've been meaning to watch it. It looks really good. So tell us more about the panels. Like, did you attend all of the panels, or did you?
Good Lord, no.
Ones?
Oh my God. No,
well, I've never been to one, so I don't know. The panels obviously run all day.
So panels at TFN. Panels at TFN are a bit funny, right? Like they will bring lots of people along, and they will do all of the guests will do a panel. And in fact, I haven't even mentioned one of I haven't mentioned much by any of the guests, but one of the notable guests this year was Darren Norris, who is the voice of Knockout in Transformers Prime, and I see Stell nodding enthusiastically there as well because oh my God, Knockout's amazing, right? And during the opening ceremony, Darren's come on stage and he's like, "Well, this convention's going to be juicy," and and I leaned over to my friend who was there with the time, and I just said, I have a feeling that Darren is just Knockout, or Knockout is not actually Darren acting. I think it's actually just Darren. And over the course of the convention, it became very evident that I was quite correct. He was basically just Knockout the entire time it was him. So yeah, no, but Darren was a lot of fun in his panels. So if all of the guests will give a panels, just so they have a chance to sort of talk about their life and their career and things like that. But it depends what it's scheduled against as to whether or not someone will go to that panel. So if you are the poor sap who is giving a panel at Saturday at 10 a.m., nobody's going to attend your panel because that is when the dealer room opens. So like it depends what's programmed opposite you, and it also depends what other people have on their social schedule as well. And Andy put a comment in there and said he's had years where he's been lucky to see 2 panels all weekend because of lots of socializing. And I think ultimately you kind of decide when you're going to TFN, you know who the guests are and you know whose panel you're going to want to go and see. And it's kind of, in a way, it's a mark of respect for that person that, you know, oh, I've come along to see Darren Norris, so I'm going to go to Darren Norris's panel. But it's also entirely possible that someone will distract you with a conversation in the bar, and suddenly you're halfway through the panel and you've got no idea what happened, and you're like, well, should I really walk in late to that panel and sort of sit up the back of the room? Maybe not. I might just let it go. And like they will eventually put the panels online, and people record them and things like that. So eventually you'll see that panel, but you know it's everyone's own choice whether or not they go along. There's also there's kind of a recurring panel between all the UK comics artists, and so the artists and the writers. So people like Nick Roche and James Roberts and Simon Furman will come along, and like they're there every year, and so it's like, oh, what panel are they going to do this year? You know, what's their topic of discussion this year? Is it going to be, you know, like deleted scenes from Target 2006, or is it going to be, you know, like stuff that we wanted to do in Last Sins of the Wreckers but couldn't, and you know, stuff like that. And so if it's a guest who comes along every other year, it's sort of like, well, maybe I won't go to your panel this time, but I might go next year. And you might go to you might go to someone else's panel, or you might just be in the dealer room and you might be a little bit distracted making your way around the dealer room. We've had a couple of photos come up showing how busy that dealer room gets, and it's very intense. There's a short on the Toy Reel YouTube channel that shows Mikey's reaction to walking into the dealer room for the first time. So like I ran in and I got my camera out filming, and he sort of walked in, and in fact there you go. And Mikey's just walked in and it's sort of like, oh yeah, this is extremely intense and I don't really know what I'm doing now. And you know, now I'm going to put the camera down and we're going to go walk around and look at some Transformers. But the dealer room is amazing. And Scott, you mentioned earlier, like they have some pretty impressive dealer rooms in the States at TFCon as well. And I think it's actually quite interesting because there are regional differences, I think, between your conventions and what happens in the dealer room. At TFN, everyone's in the dealer hall, and like people are selling in the dealer hall. And I believe they don't make that much of it these days, but I believe the Hilton has actually asked for business to not be conducted outside of the convention. So like, don't bring things along to sell as an individual, or don't you know, like run a like a dealer room out of your hotel room, things like that. Whereas if you go to TFCon, you often get a lot of people who will run like their own store will be running out of their hotel room, and they'll be like, oh, you know, come see us at you know, room 1366 or something like that. So yeah, and so there's a good note there about the room, or about things being spaced out a little bit more because they're going to add a room. They're in fact going to take over the entire hotel. Nice. So there's a couple of things that are very peculiar to the venue that TFN runs at. It's at the Hilton Birmingham Metropole, which is a convention hotel. It is a Hilton, but it is a convention hotel. It's a hotel that's designed to run functions, and that hotel is excuse me. Sorry. That hotel is large enough to run 2 conventions side by side. Usually it's TFN, and in the past it's been quilters, salsa dancers, and even a fairy convention, or not actually a convention, but it was actually the planning. It was an admin weekend away for planning for a fairy group called Confuzzled. And so there was these things end up happening opposite us, and there are interesting things. Apparently, I hear the salsa dancers have been banned. I think Andy might confirm that.
Too sexy.
No, the salsa dancers have been banned because they got into a physical altercation. I think it was with Jim Sorensen.
They are feisty.
And so So the thing is that when I say they got into a physical altercation with Jim Sorensen, I mean they actually got into a fight, and it was like a very unpleasant thing rather than just like an accidental bump in the corridor. And so yeah, they've apparently been banned. And so Billy Stripes, who's one of the guys who runs the convention, he will tell you this story of 10 years ago when he spoke to the people at the Hilton about running the convention, and they said, you can have this space and everything, and he said, cool, but like, what happens when we outgrow that space, and what happens when we get bigger? And TFN has been getting bigger year on year for the last 10 years. Every year it's a bigger convention. And he said the lady that he was speaking to 10 years ago was lovely, but she also just said, oh, look, so like, with all due respect, like your convention's never going to be the size of the Hilton. Like it's never going to take over the entire hotel. Well, yeah. So they are at the point now where basically there's capacity limits on the Saturday event. So like they sell the tickets and they sell out and they can't sell any more tickets. And so they're hitting a ceiling on what they can do in the space that they currently have, contractually taken from the Hilton. And so they're like, well, we either keep going the way that we are, or we take a punt, take a gamble, and next year they're going to book out the entire Hilton. So there's a lot of extra rooms in there. I don't think we'll be using all of those rooms, but yes, as Galactus did mention, and that is a very odd statement to say. As Galactus did say, yes, they are going to add a lot of extra space and capacity next year, and Primus willing, that convention should double in size next year. It should be amazing. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
So did you order your quilt before it's too late?
No. So there we go. In Chase Through Convention Space, which has occasionally been referenced by fan podcasts. Yeah. I do view him as an enemy. I don't think that is actually the reference that that's going on, because that seems a lot more cordial and friendly. But we do know that they are now banned. So they're not banned for chasing him through particular spaces. I do have to say, I only had nice interactions with the salsa dancers, but I did hear that other people did not. But also, like, I'm a big guy. Like, I'm not someone that people are going to come along and pick a fight with in a hotel bar. And so I think my favorite, there's been two things that I know about from the salsa dancers. They were there the first year that I went, and Stan Bush was there, and I was told at the time that some of the salsa dancers were jealous that we had Stan Bush giving a concert, and they wanted to abort their dance concert and attend our concert, or they wanted to abort their dance contest and attend our concert instead, because it's Stan freaking Bush. But the other salsa dancer interaction that I had was at the bar, and this guy was very, very, very well dressed, because a lot of the salsa dancers are very well dressed for their dance routines. And I was at the bar, and this very, very well dressed guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, you're one of the Transformers people, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I am. That's why I have Optimus Prime on my T-shirt." Things like that, and he's gone, "Oh man, I loved Transformers when I was growing up. Oh man, I had a Transformer. No one would remember it these days. They won't know it anymore. But it was my favorite toy growing up." And I'm like, try me. Maybe someone will remember it. And he's like, no, one here would know it anymore. It was a blue cassette deck. Don't know any blue cassette deck.
No idea he's referring to.
And in fact, look at that. There's a blue cassette deck.
Yeah.
I only know red cassette decks.
Gary, you're doing a fantastic job of choosing appropriate slides to bring up. Thank you very much.
It's awesome.
Good one.
But and I just said to him, look, I think if you take a walk around the bar, you'll probably find that there's a Soundwave toy on practically every table, and everyone knows who Soundwave is, and he's one of the most enduring characters of the franchise. He's like, oh my god, really? Oh, and off he's gone for a bit of a walk around the bar. So yeah.
Nice.
So it is interesting, but yeah, apparently the salsa dancers are not coming back. So last year, so the way that the Hilton is laid out, there's two main corridors that sort of lead down to one end of the hotel. And last year, the salsa dancers actually insisted in taking one of the corridors, and it was where all their performance rooms were, and they basically said, we don't want Transformers people walking past our performances. And it's like, oh, well, fine, we don't want to walk past your performances, then fine, whatever. And so like they had a signpost at either end of the hallway that said, TFN traffic go this way. And maybe that's also part of the reason that they're not welcome back, is because they kicked up such a fuss over that. But like at the time, like everyone from TFN was just like, okay, we'll just walk down the other corridor. But then as we're walking down the other corridor, there's salsa dancing people walking down the other corridor as well. It's like, what do you guys want? Like, you don't want us in your corridor, so stay out of ours. But yeah. So yeah, like I think we've gone into we've definitely sort of veered into story territory for now, haven't we?
That's all right. I want to know, like, there's a side subject here, but like logistically, how do you manage to get yourself over there? Like, is it hard? Is it easy? Is it like
it's easy. Like, so I'm the son of a pilot, right? So like my family has flown for years, and I'm very comfortable booking an airline ticket.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind for this trip, like Mikey had never left Australia before, so he had a veteran planning his trip. So I'd like to think that I helped in that respect. But it is one of the easiest things to do to get yourself on a Qantas flight to London. Like, all you got to do is you go to the Qantas website and you say, I want to go to London at this time, and then you get yourself from London to Birmingham. It is cheaper than you think. And if you book far enough in advance, once they announce the dates for the convention, you can start looking at flights. And if you know sort of roughly when Qantas and other airlines have sales, you sort of know when to watch for your sale fares to come up as well. There are websites like Skyscanner that will sort of show you, like this is the aggregate price across different carriers of how to do things. And Nathan, my dad was a pilot, and he sort of finished his career as a simulator instructor as well. But like my family's always been happy to travel, and I do find it funny when I speak to other people that people are like, I'm really nervous booking a hotel online. I'm like, all you got to do is go to the website, choose the right dates, make sure you put the right dates in, and be aware of your cancellation fees or anything like that, and just go book it. And then you turn up and you say, I'm Jason, I've got a booking, and they let you in. So my
wife's a whiz at that stuff, so that's I just didn't want her to have to plan too much if I want to go. That's all. She's really good at that thing. She knows how to find the flights and all that. And we as a family travel a lot, so we're used to traveling as well.
So here's the other thing that you can do as well, right? Is that you don't have to go by yourself. You can like your wife can come along to the UK as well. Your wife can even come along to TFN, and like there are people who will hang out in the bar and everything. But if she doesn't want to come to TFN, there's plenty of stuff for her to do for that weekend around the UK, and then you can rendezvous in London later on.
She loves a good market and everything like that. She's been to a few of the other conventions with me, and she likes it. And my boy would just love it. He would be so happy. There'd be so many people he can make friends with and talk to about everything. So
I'll tell the I'll tell the 6-0 story again. Oh, Andy's first year was also the Stan Bush year, buddies.
Nice.
I'll tell the 6-0 story that I told on Toy Reel again. So because my sister used to live in the UK and they've since moved back to Australia, but my nephew came along to TFN must have been about 5 years ago. So he would have been about 12 or 13. And I dutifully introduced him to everyone. And so he met 6-0 and Maz. And I don't think the guys were running Triple Takeover at the time. And maybe it might have been the first year of Triple Takeover, actually. I can't remember. But 6-0 is always extremely polite. And he's very well spoken. And hello, hi, how's it going and everything. And my nephew decided that I had told him that 6-0 owns every Transformer, which is the joke that 6-0 doesn't really like people telling everyone that he owns every Transformer, but he does almost everything. And
I've seen his photos.
Exactly, yeah. And so Will went along and he found it was like a knockoff MP10. And he decided that he liked to collect all these knockoff MP10s that he could at the convention because he liked to get all the matrices and put them on a single little necklace. But at the time, he was walking around with like 5 or 6 MP10s. Some of them might have been real, but he'd acquired all these things, and every single one he would go and walk up to 6-0 and just go, "Hi, 6-0, do you have this one?" And 6-0, unflappably polite, would always just go, "Yes, I do. Yep, I've got that one. Yep,
got that one."
So yeah,
nice.
it is also worth pointing out that like you can meet certain YouTube personalities as you walk through the dealer room and through the halls at TFN, as we have certain YouTube personalities in the audience tonight as well, being Andy from TF the Show as well, and I think Hodit also counts as a YouTube personality now because he's on everyone's YouTube show now. So yeah, he's got his own stuff on Instagram as well. So like you can meet all of these personalities. The Triple Takeover guys are like a force to be reckoned with socially, and it helps that they're all absolutely lovely people. As far as Andy going with TF the Show, the number of people who are wearing Transformers the Show t-shirts, and like I don't know if all of the people who wear Transformers the Show t-shirts are on Transformers the Show, or they're just supporting Transformers the Show, or they're sponsored by Transformers the Show. But I believe at this point there's about 100 people who might be on Transformers the Show, and I feel like I need one of those t-shirts as well. Actually, let's talk about that next time. But yeah, like you can see all of these people if you watch their content. You can certainly meet them walking around TFN, and there's also you will also this year we didn't have Thu attending this year. Who's busy, but he's there every other year, and he's always lovely to meet up and have a drink at the bar and go out for a bit of a walk and a chat. So
yeah, I'd like to meet Thu. He seems really, really cool. Like just his reviews, everything about him just seems like you'd be a nice guy to meet.
Absolutely. And so now that I know that someone's actually controlling the slideshow, Gary's brought up Mikey with the Triple Takeover guys there. The Triple Takeover guys are very fond of Mikey because in their Patreon, he has the distinction of having a name that they all recognize. He's known as Vegemite Mike, which makes a lot of the UK folks skin crawl because a lot of the folks in the UK cannot handle Vegemite, and so as soon as Mikey started,
come on,
as soon as Mikey started turning up as Vegemite Mike. They were just like, oh my god, Vegemite Mike. And so he's turned up to TFN this year and he's like, hey guys, I'm Vegemite Mike, and everyone was just like, oh my god, come over here, have a photo. So that's there's Triple Takeover boys there, there's 6-0, there's Toybox Soapbox, and Jason Wagner, or J Swags as he's come to be known. And I have the funniest thing with Jason Wagner because he's also a software developer, and Jason and I followed each other on Twitter before we even realized that we both liked Transformers stuff. And like I was following him for some software development stuff, and then suddenly I was just like, hang on, this guy that I followed for like software development stuff is tweeting about Transformers. Like, did I get my wires crossed here somewhere, or is this like the happiest of coincidences? And turns out, happiest of coincidences.
Nice. Right.
YouTube personality. Yeah, of course you're a YouTube personality, Andy. Yeah.
Freakenstein's in the chats as well. That's good to see.
Yeah.
A few regulars in the chats there. A few new faces as well.
Yeah, it's always nice.
Nathan Ashby. It's pretty good.
Is that Unicron having a spliff?
Certainly is. I snapped this. I happened to snap this because I happened to walk past it. This is just what someone had done in the bar at TFN, and I was like, that's cute. I'll take a photo of that. And I think the photo came out quite well. Yeah, like people do stupid things with their toys and make a good photo op. Like a few years ago, when I first started going along, like I think it was around the time MP36 came out, and people would have MP36 doing stupid, sexy poses on the table and stuff like that. So yeah,
why not? I mean, if you're at a bar, you've had a few drinks, you've got some Transformers. What else are you going to do with them?
Well, it's like I said, like it's a good icebreaker. You have something on the table in front of you that people want to play with, look at, or take a photo of, and it's a great icebreaker. Someone will go along and they'll start talking to you about it.
We should all carry little pocket Transformers, and then when we get nervous out in public, we just pull it out and let's talk about this.
Absolutely. Look, I think a lot of people have pocket Transformers, but there's also, I think, Gary, there's a photograph of Mikey holding a massive Transformer, which I think it's the first one in the album that I sent you. But like, it's worth putting that one up as well. Yeah, there's we all have our own little safety nets or fidget toys that we all bring out when we when we go and do things. I have a little one of my friends over there goes by the name Joshels, and Josh takes a little New Age Bumblebee with him wherever he goes, and we'll sort of take it out and put it somewhere and take a photo of it. And so I started taking a New Age Jazz places as a result of that. And so yeah, like I have my safety blanket, my fidget toy Jazz sits there. There we go. That's the this was actually like the very first night that we even got to TFN. So TFN hasn't started yet, but this is a metal cardbot offshoot. It's an offshoot of their brand, and it's a combiner that someone whipped out all the bots for it and put them together, and we were just like, holy crap, look at the size of that thing. Like it's enormous. Mikey's not huge, but like that combiner is huge. And it hangs together nicely. Everything's ratcheted really, really well. And it's one of those things where, like, I have definitely purchased things because I've seen them on the table at TFN. I got the I think it was the little Legend Scale Omega Supreme huge dragon. I think the first year I went to TFN, someone had that on the table. I was just like, that's great. I got to go buy that. And so I went and ordered that. That's somewhere around here. I do like, usually when I go over there, we actually, Scott, we need to finish the discussion about how to get to TFN, but usually
getting sidetracked with cool stories.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Usually I like to go via Singapore, and I'll usually pick something up in Singapore that hasn't quite made it out in the UK yet. And so I think last year or the year before, I had the GoBot set, and that hadn't quite made it out yet. So I had the 3 GoBots on my table. And in years gone by, like I've gone through Singapore when like Siege Ratchet was released, so I picked up a few of those and took them over, and I think I gave one to Toy Fu that year to collect some money for as well. But so yeah, as far as going over to the UK, like I will usually fly on Qantas, and usually Qantas will fly via Singapore, and usually I'll try to break up my journey in Singapore by a few days, do a bit of shopping, and then head over. But this year there's a war on, and the price of everything has gone up. And so this year we flew via Hong Kong on Cathay Pacific, and just it pays to shop around. I priced everything up, and usually my flights cost about somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500, right? And that's not too bad for getting you to and from the UK.
Reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
You can also stay there an extra amount of time and do some touristy things like we did this year as well. And your flight price doesn't really change. But this year the flights were the flights were going to be closer to 4,000 because of the change of prices because of the war and the like. And I was sort of getting ready to bite the bullet and book the flights. And oh geez, there goes the better part of $5,000 for this year's thing. Hopefully next year will be better. And then at the last minute, I was out having lunch with my sister, and she had just flown to and from the UK on Cathay Pacific, and she said, Cathay was quite cheap. And I thought, I never actually checked that. So we saved $1,000 by booking on Cathay Pacific, but the caveat with that was that we did not go via Singapore, so I had absolutely nothing to show off by way of new toys. We instead went via Hong Kong. And we didn't stop in Hong Kong, like we just transited through. So it's also quite different. One of the reasons why I like to stop in Singapore on the way is that it sort of helps get rid of the jet lag on the journey over. But what it meant is that this time we went over there and bam, got hit in the face with jet lag. So it was a bit took a bit of getting used to this year to figure out how to kick the jet lag before TFN started.
It's a shame you didn't get to stop in Hong Kong for a bit more, because it's a fantastic place for Transformers. Hong Kong has all the third parties, lots of new ones, lots of secondhand old ones that you'll find randomly. Like some of my best scores have been from Hong Kong.
Yeah. I haven't been to Hong Kong for toy hunting since I think about 2019, and in fact, I think when I was there in 2019, it wasn't actually for toy hunting. It was actually I was there as a journalist looking at a phone companies, something like I think Oppo took me there. So like it's probably even earlier for toy hunting. But one of the guys who attended TFN has been on a holiday in Hong Kong, and he's been posting photos in one of the Facebook groups of all the places that he's been going to. And I'm like, yep, I know that center, I know that center, I know that store. And then he's like, oh, and this is Wonderland. And I'm like, wait, what's Wonderland? Okay, that's one that I'm going to need to look at next time I go to Hong Kong.
Yes, it's not really a tiny store, but it's a medium to biggish store, but it's got I've been there, it's got everything, like all the modern ones, huge selections of Gundams. It's just like a great big massive toy store that has
I think there's a few of them.
I think I've been to the one that was near the wharf, so it was near the hotel I was staying at the time, like a 5-minute walk. So and that's the other great thing about Hong Kong. Everything's the train system is fantastic, so nothing is very far away, and just the centers, the in center is world renowned, is one of the best sort of those things. I mean, people of our size, I'm 6'3", so I can't fit anywhere in a Hong Kong store. I just kind of hover outside it, leeching inwards and pointing at things I want to look at. So
you just got to take binoculars.
Get used to traveling there. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Just on screen there at the moment, that is Mikey with Knockout. I mean Darren Norris. I mean Knockout, but yep. So yeah, he's definitely had a good time there. The as far as things go with Hong Kong, so the Toy Reel crew just sort of had a bit of a tour through Singapore, and we filmed a bit of content in Singapore Transformers and other toy stores. And I do think the next place that I'd really like us to go and check out is Hong Kong, because my dad used to work for Cathay Pacific in Hong Kong, so I know it quite well, but I haven't been there for quite a while. And we did find the Transformers toy store near Gate 24 in Hong Kong Airport, which I was not sure would still be there, but there it is. So yeah, Ronnie, thank you very much. Going and beefing up that subscriber count number there.
Nice.
So inching us ever closer to 150 subscribers and the giveaway of those Skybound issue 25. So thank you very much for that. Keep an eye on the channel and see how it goes.
Excellent work. Thanks for subscribing. We all appreciate it. So I guess really the main thing that I want to know about is the toys. Like, did you spend your kids' inheritance on it all, or did you walk away from a lot of good deals, get a lot of good deals, sell any teeth? Give us all.
So that prototype is actually that's not an official prototype. That is actually that's a 3D printed. And this is gonna be terrible. I cannot remember. Is it Anode from Lost Light?
It's hard to tell with no.
I'm not sure.
I think it is. And yeah, this is so people are starting to make their own figures. There is about here on the shelf behind me. There's a fully 3D printed Whirl. He looks just like he does in the More Than Meets the Eye comics, and he even transforms. And he's by a lovely bloke, lovely guy called Sam. Sam, you may know as Sam's Forge. I don't know if you can sort of see him there. He's sitting up there. Goes by multiple names. He's Sam's Forge. He's also Sam from MMC, and he. As well as designing toys for MMC, he also designs and 3D prints figures himself. He was carrying around a 3D printed Nautica that he's been working on for a little while at the show, and she has wonderful heft, and the transformation process is really, really good. That Whirl is a little bit different, and like Whirl is one of the hardest transformers to actually like do, because he's got these very, very long like poles that connect his limbs up rather than sort of having a dense robot form. So the fact that Sam made a transforming Whirl is just astonishing. But so yeah, this one I believe is by thank you very much, Andy. It is indeed Anode. This one I believe was on I'm not sure. There's a guy named Mike who I'm good friends with, but I don't know what his retailer name is. But he also sells non-F pieces, and I believe this was his work on his stand. So yeah, watch out. The 3D printed transformers are coming.
I've got a few. We're lucky enough to have a 3D printer, and I've got a few. I've got I've shown it before, but it's a 3D printed Starscream, but as Optimus Prime. So he's got the Optimus Prime body with the Starscream wings coming out of him and the Starscream head. Because before I printed it, there were no copies of it. Now suddenly you can buy the KO of it. So yeah, I've still got that one, and I've got a 3D printed trailer for a knockoff of a Nemesis Prime that I've got done in the Studio Series style. So they've done a knockoff of that because Hasbro won't release it like that. So I've got the trailer that I printed out to go with them to complete them. So yeah, the 3D printing is coming a long, long, long way from where it has.
I've got a sword for Predaking 3D printed. There's files of that floating about. I got it off eBay, but there's no other listings for it at the moment. So there's a bit of a gap in the market if you want to make some more swords for Predakings.
Give me a sec. I'm going to take the headphones off and I'm going to go get a couple of things off the shelf because they might be a little bit interesting for a discussion of 3D prints. Hang on a second.
Cool. We're there now.
Yeah.
You've seen my one, Josh, the Star.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's like it's not strong, but it holds its place on the shelf, and it's an example of a figure I didn't think I'd ever get to own.
Absolutely.
All of my 3D
I've got some really good ones. I've got a new one out called Rigmaster.
I have to figure out how to put that one together.
You can even get like KOs of that AliExpress where they've already painted it as Nemesis.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's a full transforming custom Optimus figure. So it's a different looking Optimus. turns into like a more Scourge kind of track than Optimus is.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, people basically painted it black, and then you look on AliExpress and it's everywhere.
Oh, that's
everywhere.
rad. Is that an
That's really
animated
nice.
one, Jason?
Not really. So this would be more than meets the eye, Will.
Okay.
And he's fully articulated. You got to be a little bit careful moving his parts around and stuff, but everything moves. He does transform.
Wow.
I'm not game to transform it, but he does look essentially like he just stepped off the page.
That's pretty cool.
This is sort of one of Sam's earlier pieces. He's also designed animated Constructicons and things like that. And as I said, he does work for MMC doing toy design as well. Now, last year,
I was going to say, it looks very MMC-ish. They released one that was that spindly version that was really nice looking, and I always thought that looks really cool.
Yeah, so the MMC Whirl, as far as I'm aware, it's not a more than meets the eye one. He's more he's a chunkier version based on some other media, and it's like you can see why they don't release a figure like that, because like it's something that's really, it's very precarious, and it will be easily broken. Last year, is anyone familiar with Funby Studios?
Yes.
Yeah,
I've
so
got a few of their things to print out.
Yeah. Well, so last year, Hanyang from Funby Studios is actually in Singapore. So I do see him occasionally when I go to Singapore. But he was at TFN last year, and he and I had traded a couple of messages a couple of years prior. So I'm also, while I'm doing this, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to put this thing back together as well, because I'm going to need that in a minute. But he and I had traded a couple of messages a couple of years prior, and we didn't know that each other was going to be at TFN. And I walked through the deal hall, and I saw Funby Studios, and I thought, hang on, I know that name. And I did what I do when I'm not quite sure that if I remember something or not, which is I went into Facebook Messenger and I searched for Funby Studios, and then I found the chat where we had been discussing some stuff, and I thought, oh my god, hang on. And I went over and I'm like, are you Hanyang? And he's like, yeah, I am. I'm like, oh, I'm Jason from Australia. Like, we've chatted before, and so we hung out, and then so he was selling 3D printed representations of ships from the Lost Light and More Than Meets the Eye comics. So I picked up a rod pod.
That's cool.
Oh
This is the thing that I just destroyed as I was trying to take it down. Like the crest at the front would come off. But so there's a rod pod, and I picked up the rod pod at TFN, and what I really wanted was a Lost Light, but he had sold out of Lost Lights at TFN and didn't have any left. But he also left about 3 days before I did to go home. And I happened to have about 6 hours of transit time in Singapore on the way back. And so he printed out a Lost Light for me and met me at the airport and delivered it to me on my way through transit and on the way back. So
that's so nice.
It is such a nice thing. And the thing with Funby's work, right, is that you'll buy the STL files and you have to print it yourself. And I don't have a 3D printer, and I don't have the space for a 3D printer. And I just said to him, like, you'll sell more of these if you actually just like print them for people, right? And he said, yeah, we're starting to work that out. So he whenever he sells the files, you can also get him to print them, and he'll pick them up as well.
He releases them for free too. Like I've got some of their backdrops and things like that they've just released on some of the 3D printer sites for free. So, you can join their Patreon to get more stuff as well. So it's really, really good.
There's a couple of other pieces here that there's a stand at TFN called Arcade Prints, and I've purchased from them in the past. I wish I knew where it was. It's somewhere around here. I have a giant and when I say giant, it is a 3D printed Laserbeak cassette. And it transforms like the G1 thing. You fold the legs down, you fold the things out, and you flip the bird head out. And like I love taking it to conventions, right? Like you sit it down there, and people are just like, "My God, how did Laserbeak get so big?" Because it does just look like it does look just like one of the G1 toys just blown up. So I purchased a little bit more modest from Arcade Prints this year. Just a nice little sign for a collection shelf. I thought that came up quite nicely. So cool. that'll just sit up on the shelf over there somewhere. And we were going through some of these earlier. There's an animated Allspark key, which is suitably nice and chunky, right? Like, that's pretty great. You just want to touch anything with that and see if you can make it transform. Because if it's not obvious, I do quite like the IDW More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light comics. So I've never seen a Rodimus star that I didn't like. So I picked up a 3D printed Rodimus star because why wouldn't you? So that was, I get, you were asking, some of did I spend an inheritance on figures? And like, I didn't. There's a couple of reasons for it, right? Anything that we have at retail is cheaper here because the UK has 17.5% VAT. We have 10% GST. So like you're starting off on the back foot if you're going to try and make the finances make sense if you purchase something at TFN. Coming home, I knew that we were going to be going via Singapore as well, and so I get good prices for things in Singapore as well. So I knew anything retail, I wouldn't buy at TFN, and I'd buy it in Singapore on the way home. And so, on the way home, coming through Singapore, I picked up like Red Twin Mill, I picked up the Team USA Breakaway, I picked up Swindle, picked up Starscream, picked up the Icons Optimus Prime. I actually really like the Icons Optimus Prime. People think it's silly, but I also think in a world where like we sell Lego sets to make a Star Wars logo and a Marvel logo, and people happily put these logos on their shelves and they purchase logos for their displays. I think making a transforming Optimus Prime Autobot symbol and a transforming Megatron Decepticon symbol, I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I've got the Optimus Prime one. I'm waiting for the Decepticon one. I think it's coming out in November. So I picked those up in Singapore. So what that means is that stuff that I purchased at TFN is really things that I can't get elsewhere, or things that I can't get elsewhere, or things that are intentionally something that I might buy from Toy Fu. And we haven't actually mentioned Toy Fu. Andy's mentioned Toy Fu in the comments there, but Toy Fu is an amazing group of people who come along to TFN every year with a massive, and there's a good mention of Toy Fu there. They come to TFN with pallets of Transformers that are priced up and they're offered for sale. And when you purchase a Transformer from Toy Fu, 100% of your purchase price goes to a charity called Mary's Meals. And when we say 100%, like, it's quite hard to understate what 100% of something means, right? It means that the person who takes your money does not get a cut of that. That money goes straight through to Mary's Meals. So the person who's taking your money on that stand is a volunteer, and they are donating their time and energy to collect this money and sell toys to people for a good cause. They Cinema by Pool in Italy. Oh my God. Nice. We've really gone international with this episode, haven't we? And so the amount of effort that goes into Toy Fu is astonishing every year. They're by far the largest dealer in the dealer hall. I think they have an entire row for themselves this year. They have something like 7 or 8 tables, and they're all lined with things. They put a lot of effort into at least grouping things together. So like all your Armada stuff is in one place, all your animated stuff is in one place, and people donate very generously to Toifu, and sometimes people come along and they buy something, and then they will donate it back to Toifu for them to sell again next year. And it's just the cycle. The money goes in, and it goes to Mary's Meals, and then next year someone else might come along and buy it, and that money will go to Mary's Meals again. And so, like I said, I've donated a couple of things to put on the table at Toifu. I'm kind of funny, like when I go along and I see just table after table of loose bots, like my eyes glaze over and I can't process what I'm seeing, and I find it really hard because over the years, if I want something, I've got it. Like I find it on Carousel, or I find it on eBay, or I find it in Facebook Marketplace. So there's very few things that I want, and so when I come to something like Toifu, I'm like, this is all cool, but like I've got the figures that I want, and I don't really want anything that's on the table. And then I sort of feel like, I feel bad for not buying something from Toifu. So this year, I bought myself an Armada Bendy Prime, which was cool. This was the princely sum of £25. It's complete. It's intact. Everything works. It's even got the little smokestack things, which I nearly knocked off there and everything as well, because I don't have much Armada stuff, and so I don't have much Armada stuff. And so I saw this sitting on the thing. I was like, yeah, I'll grab that. I know it's an Armada toy, and I picked it up, and Mikey was just like, that's a really good choice. That's really good. Yeah,
I believe that's the first ankle till official Transformer.
Oh, that's interesting. Let me see. Does it? Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah, I can see the tilt on that. Yeah, cool.
Great figure. I've got the Nemesis version. Good figure.
No idea how to transform this, but I'll work it out.
Yeah, you need to get more Armada toys. All of the Armada toys are good. Like the playability and just the mini cons, everything about Armada, I think was the great line was just.
So he came with this one as well.
Yeah.
I want them to do a remake of the little Overrun, I think is the name of the little jet one that he comes, because he turns into a little gun as well. So he's a target master and a mini-con. Yeah.
What else?
And I like how that one's box, when it came out, you know how Armada used to say what its gimmick was on the box? His gimmick was that he was posable. Versus
disposable. I mean, G1 couldn't say that much, so it's a gimmick.
Look, Adam, they're not all winners, okay?
So I just looked up on Toifu, and apparently Toifu on X, and they've got a story. Elon Musk is considering buying Hasbro to secure the rights to D&D.
No. That's been going around for a while.
Okay, it's just a rumor. Okay. But
keep him away.
Yes,
you don't want a transforming Cybertruck? You don't
want a transforming Tesla Cybertruck?
No. What else about Toifu?
Ironhide.
Let's stick to more pleasant things about things that I purchased at TFN. I got this little guy. I picked up something and I was like, this guy's £5. I may as well pick that up. I can't remember what it is. Is it smoke screen?
Smoke screen?
It's smoke screen, I think.
It's from
Prime. Because he's got the 38 on his side, which is what the new smoke screen in Age of the Primes has as well. So got a little smoke screen. This was £5, and I was like, I never go for little bots. So I never go for Armada. So I went for Armada, and then I went for a little bot as well. I also picked up a little Alpha Trion. I think this is a Super 7 one, but judging by the complete lack of articulation and the fact that that's his articulation.
Does it have 7 points of articulation?
No. But if it did, it would be super. And the other thing, there's two more things that I'll show that I purchased as well. I believe my first appearance on the show was all about animated. I say I believe, I know it was, but my first appearance on the show was all about animated. And so I purchased an animated Dinobot. But
That's cool.
I already have animated Dinobots, so I decided to get one that I didn't already have, which is the Transformers Adventure repaint, which is absolutely cool. So yeah, I'm really glad that I picked this one up. So that was good, and I alluded to this earlier, and I haven't actually shown the guys yet. But if you watched the Thursday midweek musings for Toyroll, you'll know what it is. This sounds great. Lots and lots of ratchets and stuff in there, which I think, Stel, you said earlier that you thought it was going to be somewhat like a Marta or Energon era toy, which it is. Does anyone need me to blog something for them? Because like I can
device label.
It is indeed. It is device label blaster.
Oh my god!
It actually transforms and it's a functioning USB hub.
Yeah.
Assuming you don't want anything more than like USB 1.0 speeds, but it does work.
Yeah. We were talking about that one on the crossover episode a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where you had a mouse and
there was a mouse as well, and a couple of USB things, a couple of USB sticks. But I have never seen this in the flesh before, and I was walking through the dealer hall and I saw someone with it on the thing. I was like, oh my god, that's device label blaster, and I'm like, I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm gonna buy it because but just listen to this, right? Nothing is ratcheted like that anymore. Like, it's amazing. So I picked up those things. And if people are familiar with there's a Transformers store at Battersea Power Station in London, and this was quite funny because when they first started, they basically sold Transformers merchandise, and people would go along to the store and they'd be like, where are all the Transformers? And they're like, oh, sorry, like we don't have the rights to sell Transformers. We just sell merchandise. So like you can get a t-shirt or something like that. And in the intervening years, they have worked out with Hasbro how to like stock actual, actual Transformers. And they came along to TFN last year for the first time, and they were all fantastic. I expected them to kind of be dicks and stuff, and they were all amazing people. They were fantastic. And they went along last year and they're like, we've decided that the Battersea Power Station is a Titan. And it's like,
I saw this.
Okay, I'm like, great. You've decided that your building is a Titan. Like, I can also decide that my apartment block is a Titan. Woohoo, And they went out and they said, oh, we've got some artists doing like commission to do work, and we're getting some comics done, and they're like, we're going to try and get some toys made as well. I'm like, is Hasbro really going to make a toy of like your power station? I'm like, it's very niche. I don't think Hasbro is going to do it. So they came along to TFN this year and they announced that it's not Hasbro, but Yellow Park is doing an AMK Pro model of Powerplex. And I don't know if you guys are very familiar with the Yellow Park AMK Pros, but they're not cheap. It is a 130-pound model, and I kind of can't really justify that. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Blockies is not doing it, and it was Yellow Park. But so instead, I purchased the pin. Because everyone knows that I like pins. So I've got a pin of Powerplex, and like I said, I kind of poo-pooed this idea. I'm like, oh yeah, great. I'm going to decide that my building is a Titan as well. Well, after TFN, Mikey and I went to London, and we went to the Battersea Power Station. Has anyone here actually been to the Battersea Power Station?
No.
Okay. I'm okay to drop an F-bomb, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
cool. Right.
It's late
10 o'clock. Kids will be in
That
bed.
building is fucking enormous. right? I'll go along to that, and I'll be like, oh yeah, great, you guys decided that your building is a Titan. It's like, and then we've gone along and we've actually like set foot in the building. It's like, yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. You guys can definitely have this as a Titan. This is like the biggest building I've ever seen. It's enormous, and just the sheer scale of what used to be a functioning power station on the banks of the River Thames. It's just huge. I can't convey the size of it other than just saying, like, I stood in front of it and just went, fuck, this thing's enormous. Mikey and I filmed a short for Toy Reel, and we're like, we can't even like get across in this short. It's also because it was on the front facing camera of my phone. I'm like, I can't get a wide enough angle to get the building in. Like, it's huge. It was just so good. But so the Battersea Power Station guys were absolutely lovely. There was apparently some controversy because they were apparently selling bricks with artwork painted on them. But yeah, there's the Powerplex AMK Pro model kit. It is, honestly, it's a little bit rich for my blood, but I also suspect that it will not be the only Powerplex that we see in time. So yeah. And yep, so Mark pointed this out the other night. Like, Battersea Power Station is famous for a number of things. I'm pretty sure a lot of external things in like spaceship scenes in Red Dwarf are also filmed at the power station as well. And probably not just Red Dwarf, but it was a very, very popular place for filming sci-fi stuff because, very industrial atmosphere. And now it's a shopping center. It's been redeveloped. I think and this is why Battersea Power Station has got like a Transformers store. It also has a Peppa Pig store, which the guys who ran the Transformers store also run the Peppa Pig store right next door, and they did mention that it's a little bit amusing that there's a Peppa Pig store because Battersea Power Station was actually redeveloped by a Malaysian investment consortium, and pigs and bacon and the like are not really done things there. So like it's interesting that there's a Peppa Pig store in the Battersea Power Station. Let's just leave it at that. So we purchased something from the Transformers store, and then we went next door to the Peppa Pig store because Mikey wanted to purchase something for his niece, and the same person wearing a Transformers shirt came over and served us in the Peppa Pig store. We're like, that's not quite how that goes, but yeah.
Sure.
Do they sell hot dogs?
Do you guys know there's a Metroplex in Brisbane?
The Metroplex, what's that?
There's a place called Metroplex in Brisbane.
I did not know this, no.
Yeah, Google it up. Metroplex Brisbane in Westgate. It's a big development.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. I wonder if anyone's going to make that into a Titan as well. Or have they already?
Already done.
Yeah.
Put a Transformers store and a Peppa Pig store in it, and you'll be golden.
Yeah. So as far as like a TFN hall goes, like my TFN hall is pretty modest. There's also, in fact, there's some comic books as well. There was a photo that came up earlier of Gavin Spence, and Gavin and the crew, they put together a comic that's themed around Thunderclash every year, and this is the 4th year of it, and the project gets bigger every year. And like, I think the first year it was Thunderclash Goes Bananas. The idea was that Thunderclash had crashed on a jungle world and had to take on an animal alt mode. So that, sort of like a Thunderclash colored Optimus Primal. Then there was, I think it was the second year was Thunderclash Gets Together. And then the third year was Tales from the Multiverse. And this year was The Hunt for Hyperdrive. And these books are actually written by an Australian. It goes by the name Dr. Brainstorm online. He hangs out with us in TCCA. He would love to go to TFN, and we would love to have him at TFN. So hopefully next year we can make that happen. But the comics are they're contributed to by a veritable who's who of Transformers artists. So Alex Milne does a couple of pages. Jeff Senior's done a couple of pages. Some of the community artists that are sort of well known over in the UK, they do a couple of pages as well, and just the amount of effort and the absolute labor of love that goes into it. And it is, of course, one of those things where you buy it and 100% of the proceeds goes through to Mary's Meals via Toy Foo. So it's one of the things that gets me about TFN, and one of the reasons I love going to it is just everyone's generosity, and everyone will throw their support behind something like raising money for Mary's Meals. And like people will bring prints of their own artwork and they'll sell them for a few quid, and at the end of the convention those few quid will go over to Toy Foo. And so everyone just contributes their time and energy and efforts to help Toy Foo. Try to make every convention the biggest ever for Toy Foo. So yeah, it's very, very touching, and it is one of the reasons why I've been saying this a lot this year. Like every year when I go to TFN, I see my friends, I see the convention organizers, I see the guests, the recurring guests who know me, and like my soul is filled every year because there's so many wonderful people, and you get to spend this little weekend hanging out with all of them, and we're all just brought together by a love of giant transforming robots that love to bash the shit out of each other. It's it's such a unique experience, and it's one of the best times that you can have in Transformers fandom. So if you want to I was just going to say, if you all want to come over and experience TFN, now is the time to start planning, saving. We don't quite know when TFN 27 is going to be on, because part of the deal of expanding the convention is that it won't be on a different date. We haven't found out those dates yet, but we will. I think we're going to find those dates pretty soon. And once those dates are known, you can start planning a hotel. You can start planning your flights. You can start planning your accommodation. You can start planning whatever else you want to do at the same time. But the main thing, and this is more of a problem for us coming from Australia than it is coming from anywhere else. The most important thing to do is sit there and just go, yeah, I'm going to do it. And say, yep, I'm going to do it. 2027 is going to be the year that I go to TFN, and make that happen. Yeah. I'm actually really, really lucky. My work knows that I go to TFN every year. And even a couple of years ago, I forgot to book leave for it. And I very, very like crawlingly approached my boss about 2 weeks out from it. And I'm like, hey, I kind of forgot to book leave for this, but I've already booked the flights and the accommodation. And my boss is just like, we know you go every year, just go. It's fine.
Nice.
Like, they know. So
That's
yeah,
good.
like, just all you got to do is draw a line in the sand and say I'm going, and then once the dates get announced, figure it out. But, yeah.
It sounds like a plan. That sounds like something I definitely want to get on board for next year.
So let's start a group chat. If you want to go to TFN, let's start a group chat, and we'll start putting some things down, and we'll start planning some stuff.
Yeah, I'll be keen as. Like I say, my wife's really good at all the airfares and everything like that, so she'll be able to sort it out so that all three of us will be coming.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
I know both of them would love to see it at least once. I think it's just one of those events you've just got to at least see once even if you have a brief interest in Transformers.
Absolutely, yeah. Andy, I wholeheartedly agree. I love my work. My work has done very well by me over the years, and I'm more than happy to sing their praises. So yeah, no, I have a great time. Yeah. So yeah, let's start organizing some folks to head over to TFN. There's a group of Australians who do go fairly regularly. Some don't go every year, but there's a growing contingent of us that make the journey every year. Like I said, it is not that hard. It's probably one of the easiest things is to get from Australia to London, because Qantas loves it's like QF1, and yeah, let's make it all happen.
Yes, that is a definite, and as has been pulled up, thanks everyone for watching tonight. Got to thank everyone of our panel tonight. So
Cheers.
Adam, Jason, Stel, and Josh joining us late, but thank you for joining us. And Gary, obviously lurking in the background there. You've all been chatting with him in the comments. I want to thank Jason again. I don't know if anyone else wants to ask Jason anything before we go or say anything, but yeah, that was a good chat. I liked it. That was really, really, really nice and really good to hear from your point of views. It's a shame we didn't get to hear from Mikey. I was looking forward to.
You're gonna get part 2. Yeah, I actually just noticed. I just noticed that there's a topic needed for September the 6th. So why not make the topic the first time Transformers convention?
Well, yeah, it was going to be fascinating hearing from his perspective. Like, you're an old hat at it, not like putting that to the side either. But for someone who's never been to something like that, it must have been a mind blowing. Like you say, he stood there several times just looking around. I imagine all of us would be like that at something like that. My mouth would probably be down at the floor.
Look, I actually wanted to take a back seat and let Mikey talk about it tonight because I'm not that well and my voice is a bit shot. So I was looking forward to having an easy one because I actually do think it's more interesting to hear from someone who's gone for the first time than someone who goes every year. Unfortunately, it was not to be because unfortunately we got bitten by some availability issues at the last minute. But I think I think the topic of TFN has plenty of legs, and I think you'll hear from Mikey on his experiences in the coming weeks.
We will indeed. Yep, excellent. So anyone that's still with us, we can subscribe, like, hit that little bell button.
And
Where's
share.
that little man getting that stuff up for us? Geza.
You have to share. We need to be spread around.
Yes, there we go.
Everybody needs to know about us.
Yes, we're getting there. I think we're doing really well. Like,
sorry, just before we do wind up, there's one last comment that's come in there just at the very end from Claire Ride saying, TFN crew member here. Thank you very much for your service, and thank you very much for coming and joining us. And thank you so much for helping run one of the best convention experiences that I've ever had in my life.
And a shout out to Toy Fu again. Like, those guys sound amazing. Like 100% of the profits going to feed starving people is just awesome. Like, I can't think that, that's just so good.
It takes a special kind of person who can actually donate that much time and energy and effort to run these things, and the entire Toy Fu crew, but especially Nick, who's like the engine behind Toy Fu, just incredible people. They are just incredible. So yeah.
No, they sound awesome. They sound awesome.
Now I see the connection, Claire and Andy. Well done.
Alrighty, well, I think that's a good wrap up there, boys. I think we've had a good little chat tonight, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed watching it. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to us just dribble on about what we did, take our little sequentials, go everywhere we want to. So it's normally how we do it on this podcast. And once again, thanks, Jason, for guiding us through your TF Nation trip. It was wonderful to hear.
Thanks for having me. And I think the photo that's currently on screen is pretty indicative of Mikey's TFN as well.
I think that sums up everything beautifully. All right, so thanks, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Cheers.
Toodle
Thank you.
pip.
Bye, everyone.